I know what it is to not feel good in my skin, not feel good in my clothes, and need to figure that out just at every different step of my life. And so I thought, okay, I hit my midlife crisis and I thought, that's what I'm gonna do.
Welcome back to the You Need a Counselor podcast. This is a show presented by Heart and Solutions Counseling Agency. We release new episodes every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central and encourage you to batch up that laundry, put away the dishes, plan for the week ahead, or do any other task that might seem daunting while you give our show a listen. You might just be encouraged to call your therapist, connect with this week's guest, or seek out those services you've been considering for a while but haven't made the commitment to yet. If you are in the state of Iowa and are in need of mental or behavioral health counseling, give us a call at 1-800-531-4236. Enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome back to You Need a Counselor podcast. My name is Dr. Julie Johnson. I'm the president and founder here at Heart and Solutions Counseling Agency here in Iowa.
And I'm Chrissa Hunt. I am one of our vice presidents in charge of our behavioral health department, where we work with children in home. And this is our podcast, You Need a Counselor. So we are designed for people curious about counseling, but have barriers keeping them from experiencing the benefits of counseling. Our mission is to share stories about counseling, good, bad, and indifferent, and spread the message that everyone can benefit from mental health and behavioral health counseling services.
So our guest today is our first personal style coach that we've had on the show. And what an interesting topic this is. I'm so excited to dig into it. We've got Jennifer Nataf here joining us from Israel today. And Jennifer is a personal style coach. She enjoys helping people to find clothes and find accessories and that express themselves, that express who they are in their individual style, which shares not only to other people around them who this person is, but also shares with ourselves that we are worthy of being expressed through our clothing, through our accessories, and through our personal style. So Jennifer works with clients that might not have that self-acceptance piece at the point where they feel like, well, am I worthy of dressing a certain way? Am I cool enough to wear that, right? Am I young enough? Do I have, right? And so do I have the right to spend money on that? All of these barriers that come into play when it comes to our personal style and really expressing ourselves. And personal style can be a way that we can really hide who we are in a lot of ways. And so a personal stylist really helps us to express that, bring that out, and open ourselves up. So welcome, Jennifer. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful to have you. So tell us, what is a personal style coach? What is it that you do when you're working with your clients?
I really help my clients dig down deep to see what it is that they want to, how they want to appear in the world, and what it is that they want to express of their personality, what they want people to see. And I dig down deep with them, and then when we figure that out, we can see what styles draw them. If they like patterns, if they like certain colors, if they like certain styles, if they like, whatever it is that they're drawn to, their eye is drawn to, we put that all together and then we find out what their style is. So I do a lot of, I ask them a lot of questions, do a lot of digging, and I don't stop until it makes sense to me. Like everything they're saying really computes and it really matches. It matches, it all fits together.
How did you get into this field and become a personal stylist coach?
My background is nutrition. That I have a bachelor's and a master's in nutrition. I never worked in that field. I ended up teaching biology, and then I ended up in a nonprofit managing an office for 13 years. And I guess I sort of had a midlife crisis, like a lot of people do. And one of the dreams that was like always at the back of my brain always thought one day I would like to become a personal stylist and help people find their style. And meanwhile, my whole life, I have been this person that my friends say, will you go shopping with me? Will you help me find my wedding dress? And I myself have had to find my style throughout the decades. You're no longer a teenager, now you're a student. You're no longer a student, now you're in your 30s. You've gained weight, you've lost weight. So I've been through all those things, and I know what it is to not feel good in my skin, not feel good in my clothes, need to figure that out just at every different step of my life. And so I thought, okay, I hit my midlife crisis and I thought, what I'm gonna do. So I went for it. I studied to be a personal stylist. I did a course. I did some business courses as well, and then I opened my personal styling business.
So there's kind of two ends of what I imagine would be a person who might come in for style coaching. And one on one end of the spectrum is kind of the person who's like, I don't care what I wear. Like if it fits, I'm going, right? If it fits, I'm keeping it. Or even if it doesn't fit, I'm keeping it in my closet. And I just kind of put together what I have to wear that day, right? And go about my business. And then on the opposite side might be a person who is very interested in style, is very interested in clothing, but doesn't have a kind of focus point or a focus or a way to bring all of those pieces together, and maybe goes shopping and buys a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of accessories, right? But maybe they don't go with anything else that they have. And so are there other types of situations where people might find themselves coming to you for style coaching?
So what I found has been I've I found that I usually have two types of clients. One is the first kind is the people who just cannot take it anymore. They cannot take feeling frumpy, feeling like they don't know what to wear, and they're getting dressed is such a chore. Like it's taking an emotional toll on them just getting dressed. And they finally say, that's it. There's a person who can help me. I am coming to her. And then the other type of client is typically somebody who has been through some big life change. They've maybe they've just like they've gotten to this point where the kids are grown and now it's time to take care of themselves, or it's their 40th birthday and they say, I'm doing this for me. I've taken care of my whole family. I'm doing this for me. I've had a few clients also come to me after having been through a long counseling process and healing process, where that next stage is, now I'm going to show who I am. I'm going to show myself that I'm worthy of investing myself instead of hiding. So I've typically had those two kind of clients, the kind who are just like at a loss and they need me, and those who like something big has happened, some big good positive life change, and it's like now I'm taking care of myself. In both cases, it's now I'm taking care of myself.
So if somebody reaches out to you and they, either client, are struggling with like, okay, I want to change what I look like or how I dress, what are their first steps? I know you mentioned like asking questions, like what kind of things do you try and figure out about them to try and figure out their style?
Okay, well, so first of all, I have some training, because without that training, I would be dressing everybody exactly like me, like adapting for their body type, but I would just be putting people in clothes that I like. So my training has taught me about different personality styles or style personalities. It's the same thing. I mix them up. And so based on those style personalities, I know if that person is more natural or more romantic or more classic. That gives me a guideline. I know when I get to know the person, I know if they're going to want to be more natural and more comfortable. And I'm not going to put that person in high heels. I'm going to make sure that they're nothing is too tight on them because they cannot stand that. They're going to be drawn to more natural fabrics, more natural colors, and still I will take their style and I will elevate it. And then the person who's more romantic, I can see that on them after speaking with them. I know that we're going to go for more florals. We're going to go for these soft feminine clothes, lacy and red and pink. And so because my training, I know that there are different style personalities, and that really helps to guide me, and it keeps me from dressing them just like me. Like I said, and like you mentioned, I ask a lot of questions, and I have them find, and this is something that I sort of came up on my own, and then I discovered a lot of other personal stylists and other people are doing this as well in branding and everything, because essentially getting dressed is personal branding. So I have them find 3 to 5 keywords where it's 3 to 5 keywords, how they want to appear in the world. Is it feminine, sexy? Is it powerful? Is it bohemian? Is it more natural, classic? I get a wide range. I get a wide range of keywords that ways that people want to appear in the world. And I like if I feel like it's just a little, if I feel like it's like it doesn't fully resonate with everything else they're telling me, I'm like, let's go back and really make sure that those keywords are the ones that you want to are the ones that you want to express through your clothes. Once I have those keywords, I have them open up a Pinterest board and I guide them in putting a Pinterest board together. I want to see what they will come up with on their own. Having spoken to them, I already know what they like because I have an in-depth questionnaire that asks what styles they like, do they like patterns, what colors do they like? I have a pretty good idea of what they're usually drawn to, but when I have them put together a Pinterest board on their own, they will start to dig and they will sort of take ownership of that process. And this is something that they can continue to do. Your style is going to change over the years. So if they worked with me once, they can continue to do this later on. 2-3 years later, they feel like they're a little sick of their clothes. They can go back to the Pinterest board and take a look at it. So from the Pinterest board, I will start to see patterns emerging. And my clients are smart. So they'll look through the Pinterest board and they'll say things like, oh, I didn't realize how much I like the color yellow, or all sorts of things. And I tell them, everything that you really love that lights you up. If you're pinning an outfit and it's like 90%, but there's something that bugs you about it, just remove it. So we work through that process of a Pinterest board. And then with the keywords and the Pinterest board, I go to their closet and I see, does their closet reflect them? Does their closet reflect who they say that they want to be, how they want to appear? Does their closet fit their Pinterest board? What's missing? And when I see that, I can also show them how to mix and match things that they already have in ways that they've never thought of, in ways that are like maybe similar to their Pinterest board. In some cases, it's as simple as like tucking in their shirt, putting on a belt. It can be some small, simple changes that just really, really just change the whole look. And once we've done that, I go shopping with them, and throughout the whole process, I have them send me selfies of their outfits of the day, so that I see what they're wearing. It also, like, again, this is this whole consciousness thing that makes them think about what they're wearing and put effort into it. And since they're paying me, they may as well really, really go through that process in a way that will help them continue to think even after they've stopped working with me. So that's pretty much my process. And I do have, so this is something when you work with a personal stylist, and every personal stylist is different, it's worth talking to different stylists, different style coaches to see how they work, to see if you connect with them. That's how I work, and I get good results for my clients. They're happy, I'm happy. And so also I do have, this is something that you can do on your own. So I have a style guide for people to DIY this whole process. It is longer. It's so much easier to work with a personal stylist. But for people who think, I can do this, I can figure this out on my own, I have a style guide that takes people through all the steps, and yeah, so that's available.
Absolutely. I like the kind of different tendencies or personality like the romantic, the natural, the classical. I think those are so fun. And I feel like are you a romantic style, Jennifer, or are you a
No,
classic style?
I'm classic. I'm
Classic
classic.
style. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think you would be, Chrissa?
I don't know, because I mean, when you were talking about like natural colors, but then also kind of romantic, because I like pinks and flowers too. So maybe like a mix. I don't know. What do you think?
That's that's absolutely possible.
Yeah,
You could be a mix. Yeah.
yeah.
I could see a mix there. Yeah. Absolutely. Lots of like flowers and just like pretty
Mhm.
things. Chris's clothes are always like pretty. Um and then yeah, I would say mine's probably more natural. The more natural category. Cool. So what kinds of barriers do you find that people have? Because I know like for me, clothing I have a lot of barriers with clothing, right? So there's like financial barriers, right? Of like buying clothes. And then there's like clothing fit issues and barriers that I'll have, right? And so I can definitely relate when you say like for some people getting dressed in the morning is such a pain, right? Like it's like emotionally painful sometimes to like get dressed in the morning and get ready. And I think with more people working from home now than there have ever been, it gets a little bit easier, right? Like it gets in 2020, it took some of that pressure off of a lot of us because we went to work from home. And then it was like, oh, I don't have to go through that every morning and get dressed and get styled and all of that. But then now so many people are going back to work outside of the home. And I think that before that, maybe not as many people recognized the challenge of that because you kind of get numb to like, well, this is just what I do. This is just what it's like. And then when it stops and we stop having to do that, we go, oh man, that's kind of nice not having to get ready in the morning. And then going back to work in person, having to kind of readjust to doing that again. And then, they call it what the COVID 40 or whatever, right? People have gained weight over COVID and so then everybody kind of coming back and going, oh man, now I'm a different size. And, like I lost weight during COVID or during like 2020, 2021, like a lot of weight. And then I gained it back. And so it's like, how when we go back to the closet and it's like, oh man, I got like every size in here, right? That struggle, I can so resonate with that. And what I started doing, and this is probably the opposite of what you would encourage people to do, because what I started doing was I was like, I'm only going to buy black clothing. Like, I'm only going to buy black, and like, I'm only going to wear black clothes when I'm out. And it's because that decision fatigue that happens in the morning, right? And it's why like Steve Jobs only wore like the same shirt and the same pants every single day because he didn't want to have to make that decision in the morning. And what you're doing though is also removing that decision fatigue from people because you're doing it in advance. You're making those styles and those outfits and making all of those decisions intentional when you're buying the pieces and when you're putting the clothes together. And so then in the same way that, somebody like me might be like, well, it makes it easy in the morning when it's just black shirt and black pants because everything goes together. But what you're doing is you're also taking off that decision fatigue by saying like, nope, these are outfits. So you just pull every shirt that you wear is a shirt you've already made an intentional decision on in all of those different dimensions. So it fits you, it looks good, it, suits your body shape, it suits your color palette and your style. You've already made that decision. And so it makes putting on a shirt with a pattern or, an outfit with a jacket and a belt and all of that, it makes that process just as automated as putting on a black shirt and black pants, because all the heavy thinking has been done, it sounds like, ahead of time.
So one of the things is though that we tend to forget what we have. So I really do encourage my clients, actually everybody, to go into your closet and just play around with your clothes and do that every so often. I encourage people so that you don't get to that point of decision fatigue and like you don't get to that point where it's like, oh, it's just all too much in the morning when you need to get dressed. If you, that's also part of like like planning in advance, putting things together in advance. You can take half an hour every few weeks, once a month, and go through your clothes and try on, see what you like together, have fun with it. You know, getting dressed should be something that gives you satisfaction and that gives you confidence and shouldn't be just like put it on because it's black and it's easy. It should be something that really fills you with joy. So this is something that I recommend. Instead, listen, if you do what you got to do. If all black is what makes life easy for you, do all black. But I would also recommend going through your closet and playing and having fun. And if there's something that you just like, you're always wearing that one shirt with these one pair of pants, and mix it up and try it in a different way. And you can try it with some, you can try layering, you can try tying something, wearing something backwards. You could do all sorts of fun things with your clothes. And it's something that when somebody enjoys getting dressed, you see it on them, you see it, and it's fun to look at. Um, so so that's one thing that I wanted to say about how you can sort of prevent that decision fatigue or that all that stress in the morning, because you've tried on your clothes and you're thinking, oh, today I'm gonna wear those pairs that pair of pants that I haven't worn in the longest time, and I'm gonna put it together with that shirt because it was so cute that day when I tried it on. And really, there's actually so much research that has been done about how our clothes make us feel. I don't know if you've come across it, but there's a lot of research that's done by social psychologists that have just it shows the impact of our clothes. I'm sure you've come across the research that how people were impacted with if they wore what they were told was a doctor's coat or a painter's coat, and then it affected them cognitively. If you haven't come across it, it's brilliant. So what we wear really it affects us. So if we're not feeling good in our clothes, it affects us all day. And then there's such a difference. There's such a difference when you're feeling good in your clothes. I also want to say that one of the things that I do when I work with my clients is I teach them how to look put together. So in addition to finding what really lights them up, what they really love and are drawn to and makes them happy, I also teach them just basics, like basics like like black and white and any other color goes together. You want to look put together, like super easy. You need to have like, don't be drawn like a magpie to that shiny purple purse. If you want to look put together, just like simplest, basic, easiest way is just make sure that you have purses, like accessories, purses, shoes, jackets in black and in neutrals. Then everything's gonna be easy. Try to stick to a simple color palette. And when you have a simple color palette, like the colors that you know they work together, you like them, you're always drawn to them, you keep going back to them, and then you've got like a whole bunch of colors then you don't have a whole bunch of colors, but you do have colors that you know are going to work together. And monochromatic, so easy. You dress all in one color, boom, outfit. So that's something else that I kind of take away the guesswork from. It's like styling 101. You just the really, really, really simple guidelines that are just so easy. Okay, last one is if you're going to wear something fitted on top, wear something loose on the bottom, wear something, and vice versa. You're going to wear something loose on top, wear something fitted on the bottom, and always emphasize your waist. I don't care what your body shape is. Emphasize the teeniest part of your waist. Unless you like the bohemian style, in which case wear a tent. That's fine with me. Styling 101.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to my next question. You had mentioned like how you work with clients about becoming more accepting of their bodies as well. So I'm assuming some of those tips you mentioned, just like accentuating their waist and things like that. Do you have other advice for people maybe listening who are interested, who struggle with body image that you could give them?
There's something that happens when a client has decided to trust me and to work with me. And when I tell them something about their body, they believe me. So I'm this external person coming in and telling them, but you've got a great waist, you've got a great butt, you've got a great this, you've got a great that. And suddenly it's like this like light goes off in their eyes and they're like, oh, because they were always focusing on the bad part. All these parts that they're super concerned about and just super self-conscious about. And so there's something that I think having somebody from somebody they've decided has authority coming in and telling them, you've got a teeny waist, emphasize your waist, instead of thinking about how like broad their hips are. There's some value to that. So since I'm not going to be able to work with absolutely everybody, I would say look at yourself and what is it that you love about yourself? Everybody has something. Like, I don't care if it's your hands. Look in the mirror. Is your butt really great? You should enjoy your butt and appreciate it. Whatever it is, we all have something. There's beauty to each and every one of us, unless like we can to ourselves, we can emphasize those things and emphasize them with clothing as well, show them off. And focus a little bit less. Okay, I don't like my arms all that much. They're a little bit flabby. I could do exercise. I could do that. And I could also just say, all right, they are what they are.
Yeah, it sounds like your work with your clients really mirrors the strength-based approach of counseling. And so what you're doing is reinforcing that for those who maybe have gone through that counseling process or are going through that life change, whether it's a positive change or something that's a little more uncomfortable. You're emphasizing and focusing on those strengths. So every person has strengths, and every strength is a weakness and every weakness is a strength. And so there are people who are like, oh man, my thighs are so big. And there are people who are like, my thighs are so big, right? There's just every aspect of a body has beauty in it, and has the potential for a person to dislike it. No matter what size or shape it is, it has that potential. And so what you're doing is helping your clients find what it is that they are finding beauty in for themselves. And so that when they look in the mirror, they are seeing the focus on those strengths that they find for themselves. And when we highlight those strengths in any kind of counseling and what you're doing too, when we highlight those strengths of the person, then we can build on those strengths and we can say, okay, yeah, you've got a tiny waist right here, right? And so we want to buy clothing and put together clothing and outfits that fit you and your strengths and not the opposite, because it's so often we find that we've got a really great we've got a really great outfit, we've got a really, really great dress that we bought, right? And we go, oh man, I don't fit that anymore, right? Either that dress is too small, right? Or it's too this or it's too that, or the sleeves are too weird or whatever it is. And instead of saying, well, I'm going to get that dress altered, or I'm going to give that dress away and buy a different dress, we say, oh man, I need to change. I need to change. If I do more squats, right, my butt will look better in this dress. If I do more arm presses, right, or whatever it is, then my arms are going to look better in sleeveless tops. And the difference being, what you're saying is, no, there's validation, and I can validate that your arms are just fine the way that they are, that your butt is just fine the way that it is, or it's way better than you think it is. And so I can validate that, no, the shape of your body is exactly right. It's the clothes that you maybe have right now that aren't highlighting those pieces, that are hiding pieces that you don't want to hide, right? And that are accentuating pieces that you don't want to accentuate. And so being able to say, no, my body is absolutely fine and has so many beautiful pieces, and it's the clothing. It's not me. I don't need to fit into my clothing. My clothing needs to adjust to fit me. And that's where we find ourselves in counseling so often too, is we get clients who come in and say, I don't fit anywhere, right? I don't fit in at school. I don't fit in my classroom, right? I can't focus the way that I'm supposed to. I don't fit in my family, right? My family has these beliefs and I have these other values. And what we're saying in counseling is, no, like, you are absolutely fine. You are valid the way that you are. And in counseling, we're not saying we need to change you to fit whatever system or structure you're in, be it your family, your school, the people around you, what society thinks, what your church thinks. We're not doing that session to say, well, you need to fit into those, so you need to change. We're setting that session to say, you are a valid person, and your beliefs and your values are valid and are needed and are extraordinary. And so let's do the work of changing your surroundings, right? Maybe we need to set boundaries with some of your family members so that they know that the way that they need to treat you with respect. And maybe we need to set arrangements with your teachers to explain your situation and ask for different accommodations and work that out with them so that you can be successful there. And so it is our responsibility to make those changes, but it's not making those changes to ourselves to fit in. It's making those changes so that our surroundings, we're building a surrounding that is supportive of us and who we are the entire time. And what you're doing with clothing is exactly that. You're saying, okay, the clothes in your closet, right? They're not doing it for you, right? You're feeling stressed out by them. You're feeling like, you don't know what to do with them, or you're feeling like, hey, those represent my life as a young mom. And now I am, in this other phase of life, or those represent like, oh man, I've had those since high school, right? And so those represent a different time in my life where I was a different person. And it acknowledges that, yeah, we're humans. And so we grow as people over the years. And so those three words that we choose, that we say, nope, these are really what describe me right now, those are going to be totally different in all phases of life. And so being able to acknowledge that and saying, no, it's okay to change. It's good to change. It's positive to change. And being able to say, yeah, it's not that you need to change. It's that your clothing needs to change so that it is the clothing that fits you and supports you.
Yeah.
Just the way that
And you can stop.
it is. Yeah.
And you can stop hiding too. Stop hiding in your clothes. Stop using your clothes to hide. Come out and show how beautiful you are.
Yeah. And what are some of the ways that that we use clothing to hide? I would think there are a number of different ways that you might.
So if somebody is very often somebody who is overweight will just wear tents, thinking that, like they're hiding in that. And then I want to show them, look, you might have some more weight than you're comfortable with. but let's show that you've got a cute little figure anyhow. And so it's a matter of taking them out of the tent. Um, Look, there are people who like they really fit tents, like that's just their personality and that suits them. But when it's because they're overweight, I don't want them hiding in a tent. I want to show off whatever we can show off that they're comfortable with in an aesthetic way, in a balanced way. People could hide in, very often, people can hide in black. Um, Not to point the finger, because it really is easy. You don't have to think about it. It's also something that is like, it makes you look thinner. It does. And so, but people can hide in black because it's like, here, I'm all in black. You're not noticing me. Um, and Other ways people might hide in clothes. Really to not daring to show themselves in like they might okay, one of the questions that I have is I always ask my clients is what do you wish you had the courage to wear but don't? And so it's also that I have clients telling me I wish I had courage to wear I bought a straw hat and I haven't had the courage to wear it. I wish I had the courage to wear that straw hat. Or, whatever it is, like a leather skirt, whatever it is, they can, you can hide by not wearing those things that you want to wear. It's like kind of a lesser degree of hiding than compared to a tent or all black or whatever, but it's still hiding. And so what I tell people in situations like that is put it on, go for a walk around the block. If that's like all you can do, like that's all you have courage for right now, do it. And because they're paying me, they have to. And then I say, okay, it didn't kill you. And then do it again. But this time wear it out somewhere. You're going somewhere, wear it out. And by the time they force themselves to do this 3 times, 4 times, by the fourth time, they're like, yeah, it's part of who I am. It's me. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So are your services all online? And then are clients usually in it for a short amount of time, or how long are people typically clients of yours?
So I actually really only work in person. I've worked on occasion online for people who really wanted to work with me, but it's so much easier in person because I'm there and I can like tuck in their shirt and I can arrange things on their body and I can show them. So for the most part, I really work mostly in person in Israel. And it's a process that lasts about a month, going through all the different stages. And then I'm always there if they want to come back for more because like I feel like I equip them with the basics and but so they're walking but they're not yet running. So I'm hoping that clients in the future will come back to me when they're ready to upgrade their style a little bit more.
What about the some of the other barriers to personal style? So I love that, the courage to wear something that, we love. And I think sometimes there's that feeling of like, well, I love that type of style or I love that item, but that's for somebody else, right? And this feeling of like identity, being able to identify as a person who could wear that or a person who could like pull that off, right? And be able to wear that. There's courage in doing that, in saying to anybody who would see you, yeah, I am this person, right? Like, who do I think I am? I think I'm a person who wears a straw hat, right? Like, yes, I do think I am
Exactly.
that person. Yeah. And being able to, I mean, there's courage in that, and an experiment like that is so important in any kind of way that we are stepping out of our comfort zone. And what a great low risk way to step out of our comfort zone and say, no, I've dressed this way since high school. I've dressed this way since, whenever. And I always put, you get moms who are like, my kids always look great, right? Like my kids always look great. My family always looks great, right? And then, that identity piece of either putting the style of other people ahead of ourselves, or in convincing ourselves that no, I don't deserve to spend money on my own clothes, or I don't deserve to wear something so cool or wear something so fashionable. And those little experiments are such a low risk way to do that. Walk around the block, I love that. Even wear it in your house, and
For
wear it in
sure.
your house so that you can feel that on your body and go like, no, these are my clothes. Because there's such a distinction between my clothes and clothes that I like, but that are for somebody else. And even in our own closet, I would imagine, we've got clothes in there that sometimes we feel like, oh no, those are somebody else's clothes, either a past version of ourselves, or clothes that we bought that are aspirational clothes. We do this a lot in decluttering too. Aspirational clothing, right? That we go, oh, but I'm not cool enough yet, or I'm not successful enough yet to be able to do that. And what you're saying is, no, if you like it, it is for you. Like that is the only qualifier, is do you like it? Are you comfortable in it? Then it is for you. And who cares what other
Well,
people think?
yes, I would also say that it should look good on you. It should look good. It should look good on you.
Okay. So what if somebody loves something that doesn't look good on them? How does that
It's
go?
okay. It's up to them if they want to wear it. But I will point out to my clients, this is flattering on you, and this is not. And so if you really love it, go ahead and wear it. Just wear it, knowing that it's not bringing out the best of your physicality, and that's okay. That's really okay. But I am always extremely honest and direct, and so yeah, I definitely agree with you. Go ahead and wear it if you love it. It is you. But I feel like I would be remiss if I did not mention that it should also like matter if it looks good on you. I
Yeah.
hope it's okay that I said that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you're a style coach, so you're the expert in style. And anybody coming to you is looking for an expert in style. So your opinion matters a great deal. And you also go out and you photograph street style, which I think is so cool. We had a guest on recently, a return guest, and she goes out into the world and does she leaves, kindness blankets places, and she does
I actually caught
acts of,
that.
okay, I love that, because it reminds me, your street style project really reminds me of that, and of Nicole's outreach work. And so what you do is you go out and you photograph people just going about their day, running errands in on the sidewalk. You photograph them, and then you highlight on your page what you love about their outfits. And what a fun thing to have happen. What an affirming thing for the people that you're photographing, that, oh man, this stranger, this like professional stylist came up to me for my like lunch break outfit and had these things to say about it. What is that experience like for you?
So first of all, the reason that I do this is I really want to showcase different ways of expressing personal style. I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate all these people who have put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into coordinating a look that is really them. And so I just stop people on the street if I think that if I really love the way that they have put themselves together. And I've had people tell me exactly what you're saying. That it just made their day. It made their day that I stopped them to show appreciation for all that thought and that effort that they put into their outfit.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. If you could give a suggestion to somebody on the fence about starting coaching with you, or just any style coaching in general, what suggestion might you give them?
I would say do your research and look at the different stylists or the different style coaches out there. Um, See what they communicate in their if they're putting out videos or if they're writing things. See what they communicate. Do you like it? Do you connect to it? Do you like their style? Because there are so many different personal style coaches out there, personal stylists. There's so many different people out there, and you're going to get, if the person is trained, then they will help you find your own style, but you're also going to get a little bit of them. So I'm more classic. I'm going to elevate somebody's look and make them look a little bit more elegant. No matter what their style is, I'm going to help them find their style, but I'm also going to help it be a little bit more elegant and put that emphasis. Somebody who's super creative and very colorful, that's what you're going to get from them. So if you're liking the classic look, you're liking the neutrals, you're liking the very colorful, you're liking the patterned, you're liking that wow out there, whatever it is that you see that personal stylist, how they dress themselves and their message, whatever you're drawn to, talk with that person and talk to a couple of people before you decide you're going to work with somebody.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And you work with all different styles, but you have your own personal style. And so, we're just like with counseling, we're all humans. And so we're going to bring our own personalities into it. We're going to bring our own taste into it. And that's a huge part of it. So I love that. And I think that, you do the style coaching in person. A lot of people do that in person. And so no matter where we are in the world, we can find a style coach to help us with those things. And then if you don't have somebody in person, or if the financing of it is a barrier, or if you have other time challenges, you can definitely check out Jennifer's style guide. So again, coaching, this is kind of like how you can read about certain things, like you can read about self-esteem and confidence and things, and then you can go to a counselor. And here you can read about style, you can kind of go through those things, but having that person there to support you specifically just makes such a difference. But a great way to kind of start and get that thought process going, because for a lot of people hearing this, maybe don't know that there is a such thing as style coaches, right? Or may have hurt themselves in some of the challenges that people have with style and getting dressed and expressing ourselves through clothing and hair and accessories. And so if you're that person, go to www.prettythingstyling.store, and you can find the style guide there. And there are steps there where you can go through and just kind of have those conversations with yourself or with your partner or with your best friend or your mom or somebody who knows you. You can have that, and that can hopefully kind of start that conversation and that thought process for you. And then if you find that, yeah, it would be great to have an in-person style coach to go through these things with me and give their personal opinions and their styling expertise, check out a style coach and check out Pretty Things Styling. And you can connect with Jennifer if you're in Israel, or you can connect with another style coach. So you can also find the Street Style, which I think is so cool, so affirming, so validating, on Instagram at JRS Street Style. So JRS Street Style, you'll see all kinds of people whose days have been made by getting their photo taken and being on this feed, but also you get a lot of great style tips as well, as Jennifer goes through with her styling eye and highlights some of those style choices. So wonderful to have you here, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing this information with us.
I'm Jennifer Nataf, and I need a counselor.
And I'm Chrissa Hunt.
And I'm Julie Johnson, and we need a counselor.
And so do you.
Thank you for listening to the You Need a Counselor podcast. We are so grateful that you're here. Now, we want to hear from you. Text us or give us a call at 515-650-3231. You can also find and connect with You Need a Counselor on Facebook and Instagram. If you've enjoyed today's show, please take a moment to like, review, or leave a comment, as all of these things help others to find and benefit from the podcast as well. If you're in the state of Iowa and interested in mental health counseling or behavioral health intervention services, give us a call at 800-531-4236. And if you're a provider seeking play therapy CEUs, you can find us on patreon.com/YouNeedATraining. We'll see you for the next episode, Sunday at 5.